Make them come out for road, Natasha na bulldozer. She no get break, Natasha na bulldozer. Make them come out for road, Natasha na bulldozer.
Well, this trip wasn't, should I say, the essence of this trip wasn't a surprise because I've been working closely with the presidency. Right from March 24th, immediately the president turned down the $1 billion funding bill for Ajaokuta. So I had to think of devise a new way to source the funds. And as God will have it, the Russian government decided to buy into Afrexim Bank. And from that, we were able to secure a $1 billion funding from Afrexim Bank. And along the line, there was the plan for the African-Russian Economic Summit, which took place. So it's all a team of people working behind the scene to prepare for this moment. If you were actually active on Facebook, I had once or twice mentioned about this. But whether I was going to participate, that was a different ballgame. But the desire to travel to Russia was born out of the fact that when I looked at the manifest of those government officials who accompanied the president, I realized that there was nobody from Kogi State. The governor wasn't there himself, neither was any senator or House of Reps sent to represent the state, considering the fact that one of the main projects that was going to be discussed there, in short, two of the main projects, the nuclear power plant and the Ajaokuta Steel Company, were situated in the state. So it was extremely important for the state to have had a representative. And then that was what it was immediately after, it was the same day, I think our judgment was ruled. That was the INEX, the case we had against INEX. It was that same day we got the ticket and I traveled immediately. And of course, I worked again with the team to ensure that the MOU was put forward. But so this is actually a huge milestone for those of us who are the Ajaokuta Revival faithful. It's been a long journey since 2015. Everyone here has familiar faces. If you had taken a picture, if you take a look at the picture we took at the, was not 3-4 years ago, we had a protest. The revival protest in Abuja, you'll see that there's it's been a lot of work going on, a lot of advocacy, a lot of risk, and at the time we almost became disruptive, as if we were going against the government, but we stood firm and said, you know what, it was best to bring the Russians on board the project that they started because of the pertinent nature of the technology and the commitment of the Russian folks to Nigeria and Africa as a whole. So this is a dream come true, and we're looking forward to ensuring that Nigeria takes the best advantage of this new alliance that's formed with Russia, and to stand firm against the international conspirators that may come up and try to disrupt this process for their own selfish advantage. I'm not going to mention countries, but we all know the international conspirators that have stopped Ajaokuta in the first place. But also we urge the president to be very careful, because as I'm speaking to you right now, there are still some conspiracies going on again with Nigerians trying to hijack this process because they figured out, they already know that we have about $1.45 billion. The Russian government is putting in $450 million, while Afrexim Bank $1 billion. So because of this, the past few days I spent after the summit, I got to know that there are some games being played right now again. And I don't know if you want me to mention it, but Yaya Bello is actually on the forefront. He's trying to bring forth a company that will handle the project.
You have been there.
Well, that's what, but like God is, we're going to intercept that as well again.
You have been at the forefront of opposing to the privatization of Ajaokuta Steel Company. What informed your decision?
You see, privatization is actually the government's lazy escape. The line that is used mainly alongside privatization is that government has no business in business. But if you look around the world, the strongest economies, even England itself, America itself, China, India, the 5 biggest steel plants in India are still owned by the government. So you realize that if the government feels that the public sector is weak, then change the people in the public sector. Some of the directors you see, for example, the Ministry of Steel today or Ministry of Mines and however it's called, there are people that got in there not out of merit but out of nepotism. So they're just their figurehead. So if you think the public sector is not efficient, therefore you want to privatize, don't privatize. Change the people in the public sector and get more active, knowledgeable people to drive it. So by and large, one of the reasons why, the other reason why I spoke against the privatization is because Ajaokuta is not built to, it's too large to be owned by an individual. And because of its economic importance, you can't have, should I say, one sector or one region or someone from one tribe to hold that and then probably invariably deprive the country of an economic advantage. It's best the government owns it, and if anybody wants to participate in the public, any privatization aspect, they should wait for the downstream of steel. They can bring in Mercedes, somebody can bring Caterpillar, someone can bring in a roofing sheet company, and then you can participate. But for the project itself, let it be government owned and have Nigerians run it.
Okay, based on what you have benefited of the Kogi and Nigeria.
Optimistic as long as we stand firm and resolute on being transparent and accountable along every step. The first thing I'm going to do later this night is make a post asking the government to publish, to make open the MOU that was signed. And I think I would request that media plays a huge role in this. It is any contract or whatever form that is signed upon any public property should be made open at every time, because it's this transparency that will now curb any interest that will come in, because the public can then ask questions. Why was this clause drafted this way? Why was this money given to this sector? Do you understand? So we have to. Everyone has a role to play in ensuring that it's actually successful. Otherwise, if we don't, everything is just going to be a sad cry in the next few years. And this MOU is just the first of many parts. Now, what I expect the government to do is that they should come back now and set a team of people who are knowledgeable and are patriotic towards this cause. Because the Russia aspect, they're also putting in. And it's now these two teams will sit together and draft the technical modalities that the contract will lead and set timelines about. Because if it's funding, there's money already. Well, the money is there. At least the president said he turned it down in March because he said they have other priorities and there was no money to put into it. So we have even more than enough. We budgeted 1 billion, so now we have 1.45 for the first phase alone. So that means in the second phase, we want to expand the Ajaokuta, we're going to have more money. But like I said, this MOU is a good deal. The fact that two presidents have met is good. The fact that interactions to further cooperations between Nigeria, Africa as a whole, and Russia is good. But like I said, we cannot just go and sleep. Otherwise, this process will be hijacked, and in 5 years' time, we'll start regretting or start looking back on today. So, well.
Talking about funding involved this time, will they be in maybe?
Well, you know.
And if they will, how long, when do you think it will come into effect?
What happened now? At the MOU, I know that no company was specifically mentioned. It was just purposely between the government of Russia and government of Nigeria. Those are the two parties mentioned. Because this is the first stage. But what is going to happen is that the government of Russia itself will now sit and put forth a list of companies. Mind you, let me say this. In the 70s and 80s, when TPE built Ajaokuta, it wasn't just TPE, there were about 10 companies, but TPE was the owner of the design and they were the main coordinators. And alongside, there were other companies like Fuji Roll and Dumez. If you are familiar with Ajaokuta, you will see some Fuji Roll, Dumez, some builds. So it was like a conglomerate of companies, but TPE was the owner of the design and they were the drivers. It can't be just one company, because Ajaokuta is very, very complex, and there were actually 43 different sectors in one. So that's what we expect the government to do, to put together a team and say, okay, headed by TPE, to deliver within a specific timeline. But the most important thing which I want us to do is to begin to demand utmost accountability. By today, especially the press, someone out of you should actually write Freedom of Expression Act. No, not freedom of expression. What's the act called?
FOID.
Yes, you
Freedom
ask
of information.
Ask and make public the MOUs, and every contract that is going to be entered into should be publicly displayed. And before the contract is entered into, the government somebody from the ministry should have a town hall meeting or should be on at least 2 or 3 media platforms and speak on the direction so the public will know and be given a chance to contribute, especially the host state and host community. Because it's actually wrong to sit back and just watch, oh, this has been entered into, and then you will just follow us like puppets. That's what actually caused a lot of havoc down in the host community or disconnect between the people and the government. But like I said, as long as we're happy today, there's still a lot to be done. The MOU is just a basic, on the surface agreement. So now we're going to go back, the two teams should set up and develop the content on what they're going to, what they would want the final contract to contain.
Okay, I'm sorry.
To me, I've said the legal issues is just a conspiracy. There's no legal issues. It's just some cabals or cartels that are trying to capitalize on a legal issue because they want to hold Itakwe and Ajaokuta. There's nothing. And that's what we're actually going to tie down and tell them, you know what, the federal government, if you really understand the sovereignty of a country, no company, Nigerian, not talking of a foreign company, can actually stop you from utilizing your asset for the advantage of your people, except you yourself, you're part of that. Do you understand me? So there's no, the honest truth is that there's nothing like legal conspiracy. It was just a cooked up thing. I talked about it then during my National Assembly speech I made last year. It was a team of people that sat down and they said Nigeria owes global infrastructure $550 million. It wasn't the court in London. And then these same people now said, okay, you know what, let's not hand over to them. It's just a conspiracy. There's no legal issue we're having. So Nigerian government is free to take back its Itakwe, is free to do anything it wants with any company for the advantage of everyone.
Finally, Nigerian.
So I'll be having some meetings later today, tomorrow. But like I said, as long as I'm in politics, there's a limit to which I can participate. But what I say is, over the time, even though I'm in SDP, because Ajaokuta is of utmost importance, and that's the main reason we actually got into politics, so I can have enough authority to accelerate the impact that our people need. So, but even at that, I was in SDP, I've still maintained close relationship and I've offered my support all the time, all through.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Natasha